Hello, everybody. So this is a breathing practice, and this breathing practice is just brilliant for teaching you how the rib cage and the diaphragm can work as a contained unit and individually. And we carry a lot of tension around the rib cage and a lot of tension in the diaphragm. And if you think the movement of the rib cage is responsible for 70% of your breathing, and the diaphragm is responsible for... Hello, everybody. This is a breathing practice that we're going to do to just help you become familiar with your rib cage, different ways you can use the breath, and how to release tension in the rib cage and in the diaphragm. So a lot of us, we do our breathing practices. We'll be doing them in classes. You might be doing them at home. You'll be thinking about your breathing. But basically, you could be breathing with the rib cage quite tight or with the diaphragm quite restricted. Our rib cage is responsible for 70% of our breathing, the diaphragm for 30%. So it makes sense to have a little bit of understanding about it and some fluidity to it. Okay, so we have our lovely model, Lex, who's going to help us with this. And first of all, I'm going to get Lex to bend her knees, take her feet a little bit wide, and let the knees roll in. Okay, so that should feel comfortable. If it doesn't feel comfortable, you could lengthen the legs out with a bolster behind the knees. But basically, this is quite a nice way to spend 5 or 10 minutes. And then you think about the arms. And you're going to take the arms about 45 degrees away from the sides of the body with the palms turned up. And then rotate out towards the thumbs. And as you rotate out towards the thumbs, you'll feel your shoulder blades squeezing in and down. So you keep that, then you bend at the elbows and bring the hands to rest on the crest of the hips or the lower belly. Okay? So there's setting the scene. And then what I have here is a 5-pound weight bag. You could use a bag of rice, anything basically, but you want the weight to be about 5 pounds. And you're going to take this weight and put it down the center of the chest. I'll just turn it around the other way. So we're taking it to the center of the chest, and that should feel comfortable. And essentially it's there to give you an awareness of the breathing, okay? That you think that you've got an awareness of until somebody puts a weight on your chest, and then it becomes a whole new ball game. So I'm just going to move up a little bit. So we're going to ask Lex to close her eyes and just focus on her breath. So all you do when you focus on your breath, you're following it into the body, you're following it out. And the breath naturally will move to wherever there's no restrictions. And then we start to play around with the breath. So you move your focus to the heart, to the space beneath the breastbone in front of the spine. And you're going to use the breath as you inhale to gently push that weight up towards the ceiling. At the end of the inhale, you pause. And then as you exhale, you guide the breath back down and the weight lowers. So you're controlling the movement, using the inhale to push that weight up, pausing at the end of the inhale. And with the exhale, you're lowering the weight back down. So you're really narrowing the focus down to an area and controlling the breath within that area. This is opening up the front of the chest, around the sternum, around the collarbones. So after you've done maybe 5-10 breaths here, you visualize this weight being really heavy. And now you're going to take the breath to the side ribs. So it's almost like breathing between two panes of glass. The only thing that moves is the seam on the side of your t-shirt, which is moving out towards the upper arms. So the chest stays still. And this is the one that's maybe a little bit difficult to master, but practice makes perfect. See if you can keep that weight without moving. And the more you become familiar with this, as that side of the body is moving out, you'll feel the lower belly lifting just a little bit more than it normally would, because what's happening as you move out into the side ribs, you're stretching the diaphragm. On the inhale, the diaphragm pops down, which is what sends the belly up, because those organs below the diaphragm are being compressed a little bit. They open up. As the diaphragm comes back in, they sink down. So this sideways movement of the breath is just a really good way to stretch the diaphragm. Sometimes if you find it very difficult to get your head around this one, you can make a little fist with the hands and take the backs of the hands to the side ribs. So you're pushing out into that hand. And then from here, you move around to the space between the shoulder blades. And this is a visualization. This space isn't going to move, but you visualize that as you inhale, you can push that space down to the mat. Again, at the end of the inhale, you pause and then allow the breath to bring that space back up. Pausing at the end of the exhale and beginning again. It's quite a calming exercise to do as well, because you really are, because you're doing something with the breath, you're really narrowing the focus down to it. So you're minimizing distractions, you're minimizing wandering away with your distractions, because you've got somewhere to take the focus. And as you improve the quality of the breathing, that sense of calm will just naturally come. So you've done your 5 or 10 breaths between the shoulder blades, and now you're going to open up to the whole of the rib cage. So it's like inflating a balloon. You're moving from the heart space, opening the front, the side, the back ribs, taking them out as far as they'll go. Again, at the end of the inhale, you pause. And as you exhale, you draw that back in. So again, you're controlling the movement, inhaling consciously opening out, coming back in. So again, you can do 5, 10 breaths there, maybe longer if you want to do longer. And then it's just a nice idea to move the weight, gently put it to one side, and just then come back to the breath. And now you lose the control. So just follow that breath into the body and out. That sense of a smoother, fuller inhale and exhale without trying. And again, you can stay with this for as long as you want to, just allowing everything to come back to its own rhythm. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, you can come back up to sitting, you can carry on with the rest of your day. So thank you for watching and enjoy the practice.